Good morning, everybody. Let's let StreamYard and YouTube catch up because I know it's like 15 seconds behind. I don't know why they do that. It aggravates me. But we got Michael Hamilton in here. Good morning, Michael. And then we've got Dana from Russell Homestead. Good morning, guys. Swackum's here. Good morning, Swackum. Guys, it's going to rain today. They were like, they were talking about having snow and another thing coming through and everything. And I just checked the weather. It's going to be warm today, and it's going to rain. So it's going to start later on this afternoon. We're going to get some decent rain and hopefully melt some of this crap off. I am so stinking sick of the snow, the ice, and all that crap. It got up to like 35 yesterday. So some of it started melting, but not all of it. I can still look out the window and it's like there's still snow and ice here, and I'm absolutely sick of it. So we're going to get rain today, and hopefully all this stupid stuff will go away. So if y'all have snow and ice like I do, put a 1 in the chat and tell me if you are sick of this stuff, because I'm absolutely just like, I'm over it. The driveway, Amazon, I've got some stuff ordered from Amazon. It was supposed to be here Saturday. And I was looking at it, and it's like, yes, it'll be delivered today. And they keep pushing the stupid thing off. And apparently, I don't know, they don't want to come up the driveway or something, or come up our road. I'm like, this is stupid. So, Pilgrim, good morning. And Swackum, yeah, I'm sick of it. Dana's sick of it too. So, but yeah, Amazon, I've got, it's not, I don't have to absolutely have this stuff, but it kind of pisses you off that it's like, yeah, it's going to be there Saturday, and they don't want to drive down your driveway because they think it's too slick to get up. And I'm like, you can drive down the driveway, turn around at the shop, and come in and out, and it's no big deal. So now they're telling me it's going to be here by the 4th. So it should be here tomorrow, tomorrow, because today's the 3rd. So, but the Homestead meetup, we got that thing done. And I tell you what, it was awesome. We had, I think there was about 25 people wound up being there. I was absolutely ecstatic, especially for the weather and stuff like that, because I know we had some people from Tennessee that were going to come up, and some people from Tennessee that were going to come up, and they just couldn't make it and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that's not too awful bad. But yeah, the weather was kind of crappy. It was cold as all get out, but at least, I mean, we were inside. But it was good. I was happy. I think there's like 25 people there. Tickled to death with the turnout. And Pilgrim says 18 inches of snow on the ground. I'm ready for spring. And Michael says 216.75 inches. Love it. Yeah. But all right, Josh, one of Shelly's son-in-laws, he did a winemaking demo. This was his first time doing anything like this, showing people how to do it. He banged it out of the park. He showed us how to make several different wines. He had a few of them there that we could try and everything like that. They were good. Josh did a great job on that. People were like super interested in it. I think he did an amazing job for his first time ever doing anything like that. Greg Skeens, good morning. And then Dana was first up, and Dana did fermentation. She did a whole thing on fermentation, and she was like, I've never done anything like this before. I'm nervous as all get out. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So Shelly helped her. Shelly's used to talking in front of people, so Shelly kind of helped her and calmed her down some. But Dana did an amazing job. I mean, and she was talking about all the different fermentation techniques and all the different things you could do. She had a bunch of stuff for us to try. The beet stuff, whatever the beet, there were some kind of fermented beets, and she was like, they'll help you with your blood pressure. And I was like, cool. I was like, I need to make some of that. And she's like, I'll make you some. So I was like, okay, make me some. I tried it. I cannot stand beets. I don't know the last time I've eaten beets, and it's probably been 100 years. But I tried it. I'm like, hey, I could take that stuff if it'll help with blood pressure and not have to take a stupid pill every day. So that was good. And then something else. She had some kind of tea. I forgot what it was called. But I tried it. I was like, hey, that's pretty good. And then the apple brandy. She showed us how to make apple brandy. And I'm like, And I always thought too that brandy was, you had to distill brandy, but apparently you can do it and just ferment the brandy, and then you get you get apple brandy or whatever fruit you want to put in there, kombucha, and it's fermented. I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to. Yeah, it's fermented tea. That was pretty good. I'm a tea drinker, and I was like, man, I could probably drink some of that stuff. But the apple brandy, I think everybody was like, yeah, we want to learn how to do apple brandy. And man, honest to goodness, I watched them do the apple brandy, and I'm like, hell, I was like, anybody can do that stuff. It's like some of this stuff, teaching people how to do it, and people look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do any kind of fermentation. That's way out of my league. It sounds too complicated, stuff like that. But it's not, honestly. I mean, you were literally taking a jar and putting the apples and the raisins and everything in the jar, mashing it up a little bit, and then closing the lid and letting it set. It's like, that's not that hard. Cindy, good morning. But it didn't seem that hard. I was like, man, anybody can do this stuff. So Dana did an amazing job on doing that. And now I've conned Dana into doing a fermentation class at the festival. So Dana's going to do a workshop at the festival on fermentation. And Stephanie's here. Good morning, Stephanie. Have you finally gotten thawed out in Tennessee yet? I know, because you couldn't get up to us, but hopefully you've thawed out now. Let me see. Swacking beets are a game changer for blood pressure and helping your cardio when you're working out. I've started using beet powder before training. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a game changer. All right. Well, I'm gonna lean on Dana and be like, hey, when are you gonna get me my beet stuff so I can lower my blood pressure? But yes, so Dana's gonna do a fermentation workshop at the festival. And I am excited about that. I think people will be all about it. She's like, I'm kind of nervous. I was like, don't be. I was like, it's going to be fine. If you screw up, just screw up and just be like, hey, I said this wrong. I mean, I screw up. Hell, I screw up on here 3 days a week saying stuff, but it's like, hey, I messed up. So, but the Homestead meetup was 100% success. Had an amazing time. We had awesome food. That is one of the big things. And I don't know whether it is Homestead and Prepper people are all about food. I don't know if that's 100% true, but every time we've had one of these, I've eaten so much food. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I was sitting in the back. I was warm. I was like, I can't fall asleep. That would look bad. But my stomach was full. I was happy, and I started getting tired. But man, the food was amazing. So next time we have one, people that didn't get to come, and we're going to have some stinking amazing food. Let me see. Stephanie said, my car is dug out, but I'm still somewhat covered in ice over the roads. Hopefully the rain today will wash more of it away. Yeah, I talked to Chris Watkins. He's one of my buddies. He lives down past like Selmer, Tennessee, somewhere around in there. And I talked to him yesterday. He was like, they've been working for the power companies and stuff like that, clearing trees and clearing roads and all that stuff. And he's like, man, he said, it's still rough down here and everything. And he's like, we've been working crazy hours to get stuff done. And let me see. Dana said, the ferment you tried was beets, Honeycrisp apples, and red cabbage. All right. I would try that again. Even though I'm not a big beet person, I would eat some of it to lower my blood pressure for sure. And Stephanie, the fermentation class sounds great. And Dana said, to love the meetup is nice to put faces with names and officially meet each other. Yeah, that's one of the amazing things. Shelly and I are going to plan another one. So hopefully in like a month or two, we'll have another one. And we can I would like to have 40 or 50 people at the next one. I mean, this thing can grow. Some people couldn't make it for the weather, but hopefully with the next one, we'll have like nice weather and no ice. So, but yeah, that's the cool thing about this is you get to meet people and actually put a face to the name and meet them in person and start building a relationship. I mean, everybody kind of left. It was supposed to stop at 3, be done by 3, but it was 4 something. After I left, I had to pack everything up, and then several people were still there talking and just hanging out, because we don't get to hang out all the time, and it's cool, that we get to meet each other, hang out, actually build these relationships. The internet's cool for all this stuff and finding people and stuff like that, but really, to get down to it and start building some relationships with people, you need to get in person, sit down, shake their hand, look them in the face, eat lunch with them, and just fellowship and have a good time. That is what I like about the meetup, and we'll plan some more. And then, of course, the festival tickets are on sale. You can get those at the website. And then if you want a festival shirt, when you check out at the website, if you want to order a shirt, the shirts, we got those 10% off for people for the festival shirt if you buy a ticket. So run over, grab your tickets, and then get a festival shirt and everything. I know Dana has got her wood chipper shirt. This is the wood chipper 2.0. This is the hoodie. I've got it. And then Greg Skeens bought some shirts too. So Greg should be rocking his wood chipper hoodie too. And Dana got a wood chipper shirt. So if you want those are on the website that you can run over to. Check those out. And I might have, let me see. I don't know if I've got a link to that on here or not. No, but we'll stick this up. All right. Oh yeah, Danny. My wife loved the meetup. Wished I could have made it, but the weather the day before caused me to have to get feed on Saturday. Yeah, Danny, I did get to meet your wife. I didn't get to talk to her as much as I wanted to, but when she came in, I was helping her with the food, and she was like, I need a plug to plug the crock pot up and everything. She introduced herself, and she was like, Danny's not going to make it. He had to get feed and everything. I'm like, that's fine. I was like, as long as you made it. But I'm glad I'm glad she had a good time. It just stinks that you couldn't come. But the next one, hopefully you'll be here. You'll have to get the feed the day before, and hopefully weather won't screw around with us. So, but I think everybody had a good time. I'm ecstatic about it. All right. The pig processing workshop, that is still going to be March 21st. That's going to be here at my place. You can get your tickets at the website for it. It's going to be a small class, so don't wait till the day before to say, hey, I want to come to this, because we're going to keep this and the and the lamb processing class a smaller class where everybody gets their hands into it and they've got real hands-on stuff to where they can learn. But the pig processing class is March 21st here at my place. And then April 11th is the sheep processing class. It's going to be a small class too, to where everybody gets their hands on it, they can learn. And then the radio class that Brian and Susan are coming up to do, that is going to be May 30th. And that's going to be real close. It's going to be a couple miles outside of Bowling Green, but nothing. I mean, it's just a few miles down the road from where we have the festival. So you can get your tickets on the website and sign up for that stuff. All 3 of those workshops are going to be amazing workshops. And that stuff, I mean, those are all practical skills. You see a lot of people that are doing stuff, and it's like, when am I ever going to use this crap? You look at it, if you can learn processing skills, the animals that you're raising at your house, instead of taking those off to the processor and maybe getting your meat back or maybe not getting them, you don't know how clean the processor is. You don't know how they treat your animals once you drop them off, all that kind of stuff. All that gets cut out. The middleman gets cut out. That means you're taking that animal that you've raised on your place and you're taking it from when it was born all the way to the freezer. It never leaves your property. You know exactly how that animal was processed, how clean it was, and everything that goes on about it. So it's an amazing skill to have. And plus, if you look at it, by the time you do, even if you do and come to a processing class and pay for that, the price of the processing class and then the price to get set up to process animals at your house, pretty much after, and it depends on what people charge too. After you've done about 1.5 pigs, you are ahead or even with what you would spend taking them to the processor. So if you do that, after you do 1.5 animals, you're even on it. And then everything after that, you're money ahead. So buying the ticket for the class, getting the skills and the knowledge, and then coming back and it's like, hey, I need a pretty good meat grinder. So buying a pretty good meat grinder. I've got the one from Cabela's, and that's what Shelly's got too. They're carnivore. It's the carnivore series. Love that grinder. I have not had a trouble one with it. I mean, it just zips through meat. And then buying some knives. You need a pretty good little thing of knives, but you can do it with like 2 or 3 knives, which the VacMaster knives are what we use. You can get them on VacMaster's website and use the code Homestead, and that'll get you 15% off on knives, and it'll get you 15% off on the chamber sealers. But then you don't have to buy a chamber sealer right now. Shelly and I have got chamber sealers just because we do so much processing here. It's nice to have a commercial one to where we can go and get everything done faster. But buy a decent set of knives and then buy a bone saw. Do not buy the Cabela's bone saw. Those things absolutely suck. I've got one and I'm like, this thing, and I think it's just a blade on it. So I'm going to order a new blade for it from LEM and use it. But buy a good bone saw. I've got the LEM bone saws, and I think it's one of their bigger ones. I think it's a 20-inch model. Get it. You're looking, I think they're like $60. So, you can spend a little bit of money and then be money ahead on it, on processing stuff. Let me see. Michael asks, are you going to make pig jerky? Probably not. I've never made pig jerky. I don't know how that would be. We do a lot of beef jerky. I make beef jerky quite a bit and then make some deer jerky when I was still hunting, but I don't know. I'll have to check on the pig jerky. And honey barbecue seasoning is awesome. That sounds good. Some honey barbecue. I like sweet barbecue sauce. I don't like the vinegar-based barbecue sauce. I like a sweet barbecue sauce. So that would be pretty good. But yeah, on these classes, learning how to process your animals is a big skill. Also, the radio stuff, communications. If the grid goes down, how are you going to talk? If your cell phone doesn't work anymore, how are you going to make sure, that little Timmy gets back to the house, or who's going to pick little Timmy up from school, stuff like that. How are you going to get home? How are you going to talk to people in your group, and communicate with those guys? I mean, are we still doing the string and paper cups? I mean, you better have a lot of string if your friend's a mile or two away. So that's real world practical stuff that you're going to teach and you're going to use, that you're going to learn and use stuff. I mean, I use radios quite a bit. I need to get everything set up in here again like I used to have, but that's going to be one of those things. Maybe this weekend I'll work on it. I've got to order a couple new adapters and stuff like that and move some coax, but I would like to get that done this weekend to have all my radios sitting right over here. Swackum, getting my ham license is one of the goals for this year. Swackum, it is super easy to get your ham license, especially your tech license. What I did on mine, and I've had my tech license for actually I've had it right at 10 years because I got the renewal notice the other day. So I've got to renew my license. But what I did on it, they've got an app for your phone or your tablet or whatever. All it has is the question and the correct answer, and just go through and just memorize all that stuff, and then go in and take the test. Once you know it, and then take the practice quizzes after you've studied a bunch. And once you're doing 80% and above, it's like, hey, I can go take this license. I did the same thing for my general license too. So I've got my general class. I really want to get my extra, but it's just like the only reason I want my extra is to where when Brian and Susan come up, we can test more people without having one of their friends do it. Because if I got my extra class, we can test everybody. And I think Brian and Susan might do a little bit of testing when we do the radio class, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to talk to them. So I know we've done testing in the past. Did you take the test online or go to location? When I got mine, they were not doing it online because it was 10 years ago is when I got mine. So I did it. I actually did it. They had the Ham Fest in Cave City. So I went up there and took the test, my technician test at the Ham Fest, and passed it. And then I think it was a couple years later, I did the same thing. I went up to the Ham Fest, took the class while they were having the Ham Fest, and passed it. But I did everything on location. And if you check, I know some of the people have done stuff online, and I think you have to set up, one of my buddies was telling me, you have to set up your computer screen, and then you have to set up another screen to where they can watch you take the test to where it shows that you're not cheating or anything like that. But it's pretty stinking easy to do it online, or check, find a ham club in your area, and they will usually post dates of when they're going to do the test. And I think the one in Bowling Green, they do a test every month, maybe. So check on that. Melanie, good morning. Hey, Mel, if you can you post a link to the website if you don't care? I would do it, but I don't know how to do all that fun stuff. So, but yeah, these classes and workshops we're offering, those are real skills that you can take and actually use. And like the fermentation stuff, Shelly showed me, she sent me a couple pictures that she did after she got back on Sunday. She's like, I've already got this and this going, fermenting and everything. And I'm like, crap, you did it quick. I'm going to make, I decided the apple brandy was good, but I'm like, I like peaches. So I think I want to make peach brandy and try it out. So if I get done early enough, today I'm going to run and get some peach brandy or some peaches and start making some peach brandy. And the only bad thing is Dana said it takes like 5 months to get it ready to go, or 5 months before you can use it. But I can wait 5 months. I'm not a big drinker, but I think it would be fun to have some of it. Let me see. Dana says, Shelly is killing it on the ferments. I'm so proud of her. Yeah, she sent me like picture after picture, and just all across the counter was all this fermented stuff sitting there. And I'm like, crap. I was like, you did good on that deal. Steven, in Ohio, they give the test at the local libraries a lot. Yes. And they'll do it. I know the local clubs, wherever they meet, they do it. And I think they do it once a month, but it's, I mean, super simple to get into, and there's always people doing stuff. And I mean, heck, if I couldn't get out or something like that, I would do the test online and just run with it there. And then Melanie got the website link up. Thank you, Melanie. And oh my gosh, our long lost friend Bill is here. Bill, what was it? I told Shelly the other day, I was like, after we got off Wednesday night, I was like, you need to text Bill. Bill hadn't been on the lives in a while. So she texted and made sure Bill and his wife were okay. And then Bill sends me an email, and he is like, he sent me a message, sent me a comment on YouTube. And he's like, hey, we're doing fine. We just got tons of stuff going on, helping the neighbors and everything. And it's like, sorry, I couldn't catch the lives. And I told Bill, I was like, we were getting ready to send a search party out for your butt to make sure you were okay. But yes, Bill has been doing what everybody in this community should be doing. I mean, out helping your neighbor, doing stuff like that. I've helped some people and everything. I checked on Leslie down in Nashville. I was like, hey, do you need anything? You need a generator, anything like that? Can we help you do anything? And she was like, no. She said, we're all good right now. She said, I'll let you know. I checked on Brian and Susan down in Mississippi. He's like, we lost power for like 4 days, but we're good. We had our backup power ready to go. All of that stuff, we're fine. So be checking on people like that stuff. Be doing what Bill's doing. Bill was helping people and having a good time helping people. But Bill, I am glad that you're here now, and maybe you slowed down a little bit. And L2 Survives here. What's up, man? We were just talking about brandy, how to make different types of brandies that Dana showed us. And then also, so if you want to tell your wife, some guy on the internet said it would be fine to make brandy at home. You can tell your wife that you're allowed to make brandy at home. So, because since I've already told you that you're allowed to buy more guns, and you told your wife that. And Stephanie, yes, we recorded those sessions. I've got to figure out, I got to figure out how to do. We've got to load everything up, do a little bit of editing on those things, and then we'll probably post those things pretty soon. I know we've got how to make the apple brandy, and then we've got all the Dana's stuff, and we've got Josh's stuff recorded too. Part of it's on my iPad, and part of it is on Shelly's. So we're going to load it into Google Drive and do a little bit of editing and stuff like that. So it might be about a week before we get it out. So bear with us, but we will get it up. And Bill says, I'm walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Exactly. L2 Survive. Got it. So go get all the stuff today, L2 Survive, and start making the brandy. Stevens, I want to go down the rabbit hole with brandy, get a toasted oak barrel from Gibbs Brothers out of Arkansas, which will help with the bite. That might be, man, Dana, we need to talk. What if we did apple brandy and we got an old whiskey barrel? That would be a lot of brandy. I mean, we'd have to make a bunch of brandy to do it, and then age it in those whiskey barrels. Dana, we need to talk about that. That might be some amazing stuff. Or we might wind up getting arrested, either one. I don't know which, but we could figure something like that. Yeah, Stephanie, we'll get it up pretty soon. Hopefully first part of the week, something like that. I've got to talk to Melanie and Shelly and get everything loaded and all that technical stuff. I really don't know how to load stuff on Google Drive yet, so I got to get them to walk me through it because I'm just stupid on technology. It's a wonder I can set up a live and stuff like that all the time. And yeah, there's a barrel factory in London that builds whiskey barrels. Yeah, there's a bunch up around Bardstown too, and I know you can buy the used whiskey barrels. So we'll look at it. Then Steven says we get 5-gallon barrels from them. A 5-gallon barrel would be pretty cool. And then Dana says I have a barrel, but I have still a few gallons of bourbon in it. I don't know. We need to figure out, like, a 5-gallon might be all right. That would be pretty cool. And Bill says, we have a sign to the house somewhere that says, be the change you want to see. Yeah, exactly. Be the change that you want to see and do the stuff. Don't just talk the talk. Actually do some stuff. Before we get into the main topic of why your homestead needs a medical plan and not just a kit or a box, silver has taken an absolute dump. I'm going to refresh it. Silver was up at $120 an ounce the other day, like last week, and it has absolutely taken a dump. Yeah, silver right now, I just refreshed it. Silver is at 87.79, which is like stupid. I mean, it's taken. All right, let's see. It's down like. Well, so you're down almost $40 an ounce is what it's down, which is crazy. So I have no idea what's going on with silver. I'm not a financial person whatsoever, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, if it goes down much more, I mean, if we get down to the 60s, I might buy a little bit more. So we'll kind of see what it's doing. I don't know what it's going to do, but we'll see. And then, the change I want to see is a silver quarter. Does that make me a quarter? Hey, I would like to have some more silver quarters. I've got a bunch of junk silver. That when I was buying stuff, that's what I was buying. And let me see. Michael says, my wife has vanilla in bottles, got them hid all over the house. Yes, my wife does. The silver. She'll put it in rum and make vanilla. And does all that, and we've got a bunch of those stashed all over the place. And then she usually gives those out for presents for people at Christmas and stuff like that. Then Michael says the banksters did it. Yeah, I 100%. And Robert says silver's manipulated. Yeah, silver is always been manipulated. I don't know what it's going to do. And I don't get too in depth. It's just like I bought silver when I think the most I paid was $25 an ounce for the silver I've got. So I'm setting pretty, even if it does come down to $60 an ounce. But I might, if it drops to about 60, I might go ahead and buy some just to have it. And then Pilgrim says he's looking for some today. Stephanie says, bye now. And Michigan Silverback, my brother with the carts, my shopping cart brother. How was Saturday? Hey, Michigan, Saturday was amazing. We had about 25 people. Dana knocked it out of the park on the fermenting class. She killed it, did absolutely amazing. Josh did absolutely amazing on the winemaking demo. Everybody was drinking apple brandy. Everybody was drinking apple brandy and wine. So I was like, if y'all keep it up, we're going to have to call Ubers and get y'all's butt home. But everything went good. It was an amazing day. And we still have 90% of the ground covered in ice, but it's melting fast. Woke up to 5 to 36 degrees, and it's already up to 46. Yeah, it's getting warm here, and this stuff is melting off. I can see stuff dripping from outside. Swackum. Hope it'll keep going down. Then it'll be time to buy. Yeah, that's when I'm gonna hit. Same here. I bought when it was under $30. Yeah, I think that's the most I probably paid. I think was $25 an ounce. And I bought. I like the junk silver, so I was always buying quarters and dimes, and bought a ton of those. And then I've got a bunch of rounds too. Me and Toolman Tim, that lives up in Canada, he was doing some silver rounds, and he saw the zombie rounds somewhere, and he was like, I need some of those zombie rounds. So I hollered at Tim. I was like, hey dude, I'll trade you silver for silver. So he sent me some of the silver he had minted, and I sent him some zombie rounds because he thought those were the coolest things. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of just generic rounds. I've got a bunch of American Eagles too. So we'll look and see what it does. And yeah, Michigan, it was an awesome day. So I was super excited about it. Pilgrim says it's almost back to 90 now. All right. We'll kind of keep up and see. I mean, if the people are still saying it might do 200 or 300 an ounce, we'll kind of see what's going on with it. We're by Lake Erie and been in permafrost for 3 weeks at least. Lord. Stephen, I appreciate you, but y'all can keep that stuff there. I want my ground to be thawed out and where I can do stuff. And then the only bad thing about it is now when all this stuff thaws with all the ice that's on there, it's going to be an absolute swamp trying to do anything. I'm not excited about that. L2 Survive. Toolman just put a new video out explaining where he has been. I have not talked to Tim in a hot minute. I called him a couple months ago, and he never did call me back. I was going to ask him something, but I need to shoot him a text and be like, hey, we need to sit down and talk. So, all right. All right. Topic of the morning. We're 30 minutes into the rabbit hole and we hadn't got the main topic, but all right. I was looking at it and looking at this stuff, and training and everything is one of the big things. Training, having a plan, and knowing what you're going to do. You know, just like we had a plan for the ice storm. We didn't have to execute a lot of those plans because we kept power and water and all that. Nothing really got shut down, but we had a plan for that. So this is why every homestead needs a medical plan and not just a kit. Yes, you can buy one of these. You can buy one of the vehicle med bags that we've got back there and have all the stuff. But if you don't have a plan on how to use this stuff, you're kind of dead in the water. So, I mean, if you look at it, how many people have a first aid kit somewhere on your property? And I put homestead. This can also be your property, even if you're not homesteading. If you're just preparing for stuff, you know, where do you have kits staged at your house and on your property? But it's how many of you have a first aid kit somewhere on your property? So look at it. Do you have one down in the barn? Do you have one in your vehicle? Do you have one in the house? Do you have one maybe on your tractor? If you're out doing tractor stuff, do you have one on your tractor? Or do you grab the one out of your truck and put it with you while you're driving the tractor or in your Bobcat or whatever? Because the thing is, having a kit, if I've got this kit and I don't have a plan, it's just really a box of stuff or a vacuum sealed thing of stuff. And any real emergency on there, you know, storms, chainsaws, accidents on the farm, the box doesn't make the decisions for you. you've got to have a plan. Yes, you've got to have the knowledge on how to stop whatever, if you've got tremendous bleeding going on, you need to know how to use the tourniquet to stop the bleeding, but you need to have a plan beyond that. So, most of your stuff right now, most of your injuries are going to happen while you're out doing stuff. You're cutting wood, you're using a saw, you're using a chainsaw, you're building something in your shop, or you're putting some fence up, something like that. Most of them are not going to happen in the apocalypse. They're going to happen on like a normal Wednesday. There's been many times I've cut myself and done stuff like that. It's never been the apocalypse. It's just been a random Wednesday when I'm working, or getting something in your eye, something like that. Yesterday, I got something in my eye when I was doing some demo on a job, and I was like, I should have had my safety glasses on. So I got my eye washed my eye out. Everything's fine now. It's all good, but I should have had my safety glasses on. So you got to look. Homestead stuff is pretty high risk. There's a lot of moving parts. I mean, you've got power tools, you've got livestock, depending on what you've got. You can get hurt with livestock. Chainsaws. Right now, we're looking at ice. Perfect example, ice. And then after today, we're going to have slippery mud and all kinds of nasty mud to deal with. You've got kids helping out. Sometimes the kids are going to get hurt. Hopefully none of the kids get hurt. I hate when my son gets hurt on stuff. And some of the stuff, if you're out in a real rural area, the response time is going to be a longer response time. I mean, you might be looking at a 30 to 45 minute response time, if not longer, because the medical system right now is stretched pretty thin. Yes, it's gotten better since we've, quote, gotten through COVID, but there's still longer response times on stuff. So look at it. And, it's like we want to live farther out because we want some of the freedom, but then you sacrifice your response times on emergency people getting there. And out on the homestead especially, you're your own first responder, so you got to look at it and have a plan for this stuff. Let me see, let me run the comments real quick. Robert says, seen a video, guy in Ireland, aspirin has vanished there and they're out of stock everywhere, so check your medicine stocks. I have not seen that. I wonder why aspirin has vanished. That might be something good to look at, having a stock of stuff for sure. And Bill says, I'm switching over from electric netting to poly braid and O'Brien step-in post. The netting sucks for snow and ice. Yes, my net is down pretty good, but I pulled the animals out to where they're not behind the net. But, yeah, you got to watch that stuff. We have two, one in the car and one in the house. Yeah, exactly. And Melanie's put up a link for all the medical kits we've got. And Tina is late, but she's here. Tina, it doesn't matter if you're late as long as you got here. So I appreciate you being here. And L25, there was a X1.51 solar flare. There shouldn't be much to worry about, but it was from the same area that shot out an X8 a couple days ago. And now it's facing Earth. I have not seen that. Every now and then I watch some of the solar stuff, but I don't keep up with the solar stuff too much. So, all right, why just having, this medical kit or one of our bags, or even a tote or anything like that, why the medical kit is not enough? We'll kind of dive into that. Most people think preparedness is buying the stuff and, buy it once and then they've got their kit, they're set and ready to go. They'll throw it in a closet. They've got their bleeding control kit. They're going to throw it in a closet and they're like, hey, I'm covered on medical stuff. And then they're like, great, I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. But then the thing is, in an emergency, and a lot of people think this is any kind of training, anything. This goes from tactical training to medical training to processing classes, radio stuff. Everybody thinks they're going to rise to the level of the gear they bought, but actually you're going to fall to the level of training that you've got. Everybody's like, one of the big things is people are like, oh, well, I'm going to get my ham radio license and buy all the stuff. Or a lot of people are like, hey, I'm going to go buy all the radio equipment and everything, but I'm not going to get my license. I'm going to figure it out when I need to use it. And it's like, bro, that's not going to work. That's going to be cool. First time I got on HF radio, I had no idea what I was doing. It took me forever to make a contact on HF radio. And it's like, if this would have been a grid down situation, I would have been screwed. Same thing with your medical stuff is if you don't have a plan on how to do it and be trained on how to do it, it's like you're not doing yourself any good. Not knowing where the tourniquets are at, not knowing who grabs what, not knowing who's going to call 911, whether you're going to drive to the hospital or whether you're going to stay put. That's stuff that you need to sit down and know, and sit down with your family. You need to know where all the medical supplies are at. You need to know who's going to do what, who's going to call 911, whether you're going to stay there and wait for the ambulance or whether you're going to meet them halfway or whether you're going to go ahead and drive to the hospital. That kind of stuff is stuff that you need to sit down and have a written out medical plan with your family and your people, especially if you're going to have another couple or two come to your house in a grid down situation. Y'all need to have a medical plan set in stone and be like, hey, this is what we're going to do to it. You need to have kits placed in different spots. You need, personally for me, you need a kit, a couple kits in the house. I've got stuff stashed all over the place. We've got stuff down here in the basement. I've got stuff upstairs. Most of the time you're looking, you want some stuff in your kitchen because that's where all the knives and all the cutting and stuff like that are going. That's a great place to have a kit. And most of the time your kitchen is centrally located in a house. Like our kitchen is a central location of the house. So it's nice to have a full medical kit right there. And then typically I've got my backpack down here. I'm not going to grab it. But my backpack has one of our IFAKs mollied onto it. A lot of the times when I come in, I'll grab the backpack out of the truck and I bring it in. So you've got a first aid kit sitting there that my IFAK is sitting in the kitchen. But have kits in your house. If you got a 2-story house, have one on each level, your barn or your shop. You really need to have some stuff in your barn or your shop because stuff is going to happen down there. Think of how many times people get injured, working on stuff in their shop. I mean, you're down there, you've got miter saws, table saws, welders, cutting torches. I mean, just all kinds of crap that can go wrong. That or you're processing animals in your shop, and then you've got razor sharp knives sitting down there cutting stuff. I don't know how many times we always pull when we're doing a processing class, I let everyone know, hey, here's a vehicle medical bag that is sitting here. This is where it's at. If something happens, all our first aid supplies are right here. Anything from somebody getting really hurt to somebody just nicking their finger and we got to, put some alcohol on it and put a Band-Aid on it. So we've got those down in the shop/barn. And then think about it too. You need something in your barn because if you're dealing with animals, not necessarily your sheep, you don't hear, sheep running over and killing people or anything like that. But if you've got bigger animals, if you've got pigs can take you down. Cows can take you down. So have some stuff in there, a kit to have in there. Your vehicle is a big thing. Have something in your vehicle. I have a vehicle medical bag in there, and then typically I have my backpack with me that's got an IFAK, and then I've got some stuff that rides in the center or on the transmission hump. I've got a small little bag there for stuff. And then also high risk areas. If you've got a spot on your tractor or your bobcat or your excavator, it would be a good idea to have one sitting on there. I mean, think of how many times you're out doing stuff on your tractor and you need something on there. Also, you need to keep something on your person all the time. I mean, whether it's in your pocket or whether you've got a small, molly pouch and put it on your belt and carry it. But I typically always carry 2 packs of, and I don't have it sitting in front of me, 2 packs of compressed gauze and a cat or a soft tourniquet in my cargo pants. Always have it with me. I mean, it's small. It sits in your cargo pants. You're good to go. And then that way you don't have to worry about taking stuff with you all the time on a tractor or stuff like that. Because the big thing is, if somebody's bleeding in a barn, you don't want to have to run to the house to grab a tourniquet and some gauze. It's like, it's too late. You've got limited time. It's not like they've just cut their finger a little bit and they're oozing blood and, you grab a rag and put on it. I'm talking traumatic stuff. You don't want to have to run all the way to the house because you're done then. Some of the roles of stuff, you have to have clearly defined roles on who's going to do what. First thing, who's going to call for help? Who's going to call 911 to get ambulances on the way, or the fire department, a higher level of care? Who's going to grab the kit to do this? Who stays with the injured person? You've got to look at that. Who's going to stay at the injured person? Who's going to render aid? And then who's going to, in an ideal world, everybody should be trained to handle small medical emergencies. Everybody on your place should know how to put on a tourniquet. They should know how to do wound packing stuff. That's like the lowest skill that we should do. Michael, we'll see you later. Thanks. Who's going to manage the kids and stuff? If you've got kids out there, who's going to manage the animals if the animals need to be moved somewhere so the ambulance can get in, stuff like that. You don't want to be arguing about all this stuff while somebody's bleeding or when somebody's hurt. It's like, you don't want to be fussing at your wife. Well, you need to go get the kid or this and that. It's like clearly defined roles need to be done and in this plan. I touched on it, training. Basic bleeding control stuff, you've got to look at it. Tourniquet use. Everybody should know how to put a tourniquet on that is living with you. My son knows how to put a tourniquet on. He knows how to use a Slishman wrap. I've got one of the Slishman wraps right here. He knows how to use that. But yeah, basic bleeding control, tourniquet use, chest seals. Everybody should know how to do chest seals. CPR and your first aid basics, that you need to know how to do CPR. You need to know how to do some basic first aid stuff. If you've got a cut on your finger that's not going to need stitches, anything like that, you need to know how to clean that wound and how to bandage that wound. That's basic emergency stuff that you need to do. Really, you don't need to be a paramedic. You don't need to be a doctor. You don't need to be a nurse practitioner. You just need to know how to buy enough time until a higher level of care comes. Like this bleeding control kit has got everything. It will take care of adults. It will take care of kids also with the Slishman wrap. But in that kit, you've got everything you need to basically stop a major life-threatening bleed in there. It's got chest seals in there too. You can take those things. They're in vacuum sealed things. You can take it. It can set in your shop or set in your barn and get dusty and whatever. All the stuff inside is still clean because it's in a vacuum sealed case and you don't have to worry about it. You should throw those. Heck, you should have those things all over the place. We've got them down at our church. We've got them in every classroom, every kid's classroom at church. So that's one thing to look at. All right. Access to the help. You need to figure out response times in your area. You could call the local EMS or the fire department or the volunteer fire department and be like, hey, I live at so-and-so. What's your average response time? And then that way you need to figure that out. They can probably tell you, hey, it usually takes us 5 minutes to get there, or usually it takes us 45 minutes to get there. And look at the fire departments. Also look at the EMS, how long it's going to take an ambulance to get to your place, which you could talk to the EMS people and they could probably tell you because they're running calls all over the place. So they'll know. What's the best route to get to the hospital if you're going to take that person there? When to drive and when to wait. So you've got to look at that. If you've cut your finger pretty bad and you're like, hey, this thing's going to need stitches, you're not going to call an ambulance for that. You're going to be like, hey, let's get this thing, let's stop the bleeding on it. Then we're going to go to a higher level of care and let them stitch you up. If you've got somebody probably that's got a tourniquet on their leg and some other injuries, it's probably best to go ahead and call an ambulance and let them show up and then go on off to the hospital. Backup communications. That goes back to having backup comms for stuff, having your radios, stuff like that, a way to get a hold of people besides just your cell phones. And let me see. Bill says, one advantage we have medically is that Miss Kate worked in a hospital for many years and worked emergency trauma unit. That's a huge benefit. Yes, 100% right there. And Stephen, you can join your local CERT team and your community has won a lot of free training. Yeah, the CERT teams, they will get you a lot of training on that stuff, and they're doing some cool stuff too. And Bill says, we have a satellite fire EMS station just a few miles away. Yeah, that's amazing. And like the local volunteer fire department here, they're about 3 miles away for the volunteer fire department. And our volunteer fire department is awesome. I know a bunch of the guys on there, and those guys are some pretty cool dudes, and they know what they're doing. Response times here are not super bad. You can get an ambulance here pretty quick, but I know the fire department can be here super, super fast. And Bill says 3 to 5 minute response time. That's not bad at all. Some of the stuff on plans and everything like that, we just, and I said it before, we just installed the bleeding control kits in our church, in all the kids' Sunday school rooms. So we've got the kits there, and we're coming up with the plan now, because I talked to our lady that's in charge of children's ministry. She said, when are we going to train everybody to do it? I was like, we will get all the training set and ready to go for all the teachers and stuff like that. I said, probably in a few weeks, we're going to do some training down there to train everybody on how to use that. We just got to set dates. So we've got a plan that's coming up with that. All right. Some of the biggest blind spots for the medical prep. Nobody knows where the kit's at. If you hollered at your wife or your significant other or your kid, and it's like, hey, where's the first aid kits at? Are they going to know? If your wife or your significant other, if you yelled at them and you said, hey, I need the first aid kit, where it's at, put a 1 in the chat if they would know where they're at. And if they don't know where they're at, put a 2 in the chat. I want to know. The kids don't know how to get help. You know, your kids don't know what to do. You're failing. If you just done, the adults there, you failed. Kids can do this stuff. I mean, they know how to do it. It's not super hard. It's not rocket science. Your supplies have expired. All right. I want to touch on this a little bit. Supplies expiring. Okay. There's some things that do expire. Your quick clot and stuff, they say that it will still work somewhat. I've heard people say that quick clot will expire, but let's look. Let me grab this. All right. This is one of the trauma bandages. It's cotton. Okay. So look at it. They have an expiration date on this. For what reason, I don't know. And if you really extrapolate it out, it's like, okay, so they say the cotton expires. There's an expiration date on the cotton. So a shirt, if you've got a shirt that's so many years old that is a cotton shirt, that cotton shirt is expired. So then you need to throw away that cotton shirt. There's certain things that expire and there's certain things that don't. Even if I've got a pack of gauze that has been vacuum sealed and sterile, even if it's out of date, I'm still going to use the thing. Think about it. It's just kind of stupid. But now medicines and stuff like that, look at it and see. Some of that stuff does expire. You've got no gloves. I mean, if you don't want to be getting everybody else's goo on you and stuff like that. Kind of, if it's not yours, you don't want it on you. Now, if it's your family member or your kid or your wife, yeah, I'm going to go in and not worry about gloves if I have to, but it would be nice to have gloves on. So then that way, once you're done, you can pull the gloves off and your hands are clean. No lighting. Do you have a flashlight on you? Do you have a headlamp that you can do some stuff? I carry a small little pen light in my pocket all the time. I use it 2 or 3 times a day. So no lighting. You've got no plan if phone service is down. You've got to think about that too. Have a plan, some kind of communication plan to do something if the phones are down. And yeah, Stephen, I'm with you on that 14 trillion-year-old salt, and it expires in September. I have gotten on that train before, and I'm like, this is the stupidest stuff I have ever heard in my life. So how does stuff like that expire? Let me see. What's up, Jake? And it would be nice to find out response times to boat ramps where we'll meet EMS when on the lake. Yeah, Jake, you could call depending on what lake you're at. and everything, you could call and be like, hey, if we're at Barren River Lake, is Allen County going to hit us, or is Glasgow and Barren County going to hit? It would be nice to figure out all that stuff, especially if you're out on the lake a bunch. You see, L2, also determine what hospitals you're going to. Not all hospitals are the same. It's worth it to drive extra 15 minutes to get a hospital that has a trauma unit. Yeah, 100%. And it's funny, everybody says, and of course, this is a lot of people from Nashville and stuff. And they're like, well, I'm not going to let anybody in Bowling Green do anything to me. I'm going to have them take me to Vanderbilt. And it's like, you kind of, overdo this a little bit. If it's not something super, super traumatic and everything, it's like, go to Bowling Green and let them stitch you up there. But if it's, a major trauma thing, yeah, let's go to Vanderbilt and do that. Let's life flight it down there. Some of you don't know where the kits are at, and a lot of people know where the kits are at. Y'all are going to have to do better with that, guys. Now, to survive, everybody should have at least one in their vehicle. Yes, and typically I have one full. I've got the vehicle med bag in there, and then I've got a smaller kit on the transmission hump, and then typically I've got my backpack that has an IFAC with me. Let's see, Stephanie says, the government requires an expiration date on all medical supplies. Doesn't mean they actually expire. Yes, 100%. I've got Quick Clot, and honestly, I've got a couple Israeli bandages that are like 10 years out of their expiration date, and we use those for training and use the snot out of them. I'm like, they're 10 years expired, but they still work. It's like, huh. Yeah. Honey, the guy on the internet said my ammo is expired and I need to buy more. Yes, that and L2 Survive, you need to buy the stuff for your apple brandy too, because you need to get that going. And Dana says, grow yarrow as potent blood clotting properties topically and internally. Yes, I've heard that yarrow. I think I've got some growing here. Leslie's told me all this crap I've got growing. And I need to get her back when she's up here to be like, hey, this is this and this is that. Robert says, I keep one kit in each vehicle. Yes, you need to buy more ammo. All right, Bill, I will talk to you soon. Be careful out there. Let's whack them. My guns are expired. Need to buy more. Yes, you need to buy more guns, more medical supplies, more communication stuff like that. All right. Simple stuff that you can do today. Pick one location in the house to have your kit. If you've got a bigger kit, if you've got like a vehicle med bag, or if you've got some kind of tote that you keep most of your stuff in, pick one location and place that kit there. Take and walk your family through it. Be like, hey, here's the stuff that's in this kit. Show everybody how to use the stuff that's in this kit. And do that. Practice opening everything. Practice going through it. Get you a trainer tourniquet or two and show everybody how to put the tourniquets on. Don't be using your tourniquet that you're going to use in a real experience, in a real trauma setting. Don't use it as your practice tourniquet, because you can wear those things out and eventually they're going to break. But get a trainer tourniquet. Show everybody how to do it. Write something down and say out loud to everybody in your house, if this happens, we're going to do this. Don't make it all scary and everything, and small stuff, somebody cuts their finger while they're cutting the chicken up, we can figure that out. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. It's not always all about, oh my gosh, somebody severed their arm and they're bleeding all out. It's like small stuff, your kids come in, he comes in crying because he scraped his leg or cut his knee up and stuff like that. You don't want to spend 5 minutes searching around for Band-Aids and some alcohol wipes. It's like, hey, come in here to the kitchen, pop a squat on the chair, and you reach over to the drawer and you grab the stuff that you need. Having some of the boo-boo kits sitting all around the place. I mean, we've got our boo-boo kits that are our ouch pouch. We got our ouch pouch that have all kinds of stuff in there that you can do. I mean, heck, you can keep those in your cargo pants pocket and have Band-Aids, Neosporin, alcohol wipes, all that stuff. So, planning for some of this stuff is not about fear. It's about being responsible. You're responsible for your family and what goes on in there. You know, we prep food for our family so everybody doesn't go hungry. You've got to look at that. You know, we prep water so we don't go thirsty. Medical prep should be one of the big things that you're prepping for. And also, not just buying the kit, but knowing how to use it. And honestly, we're going to start doing our own in-house medical training. We're getting everything ready for that. We've been working on this for quite a while. And we're going to announce it. I know Thursday before the festival, the Thursday before the festival, we are going to do an actual KSL in-house trauma class. We are planning all of it right now. We got 2 awesome guys that work with us now that are going to be helping teach that. So we've got that. But guys, you don't have to make this all scary. It's like, get your kits, know where your kits are at, practice with these things, and talk to the people in your house on how to use these things. So that's about all I've got for today. But Swackham, Dana does not post on YouTube. She posts on Facebook, and she deleted her Instagram. We had to talk about that, that she deleted her Instagram. But no, she does Facebook. So look her on Facebook. And right here, she says, "No, I'm not on YouTube. Maybe one day. I've just ventured in that direction." Dana, we're going to get Dana on YouTube one day. Dana, do you want to come on the show one morning? Would that be fun? I will text you after all this and we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll get Dana to come on Friday. If y'all want Dana to come on Friday morning on the show, put a 1 in the chat. And I'm waiting. But we'll get Dana on the show one day for sure. But yeah, Dana just does Facebook right now, but I think she needs to do YouTube. All right. Dana, Swackham said 1. So you got to come on the show on Friday morning. So, all right, guys, I appreciate y'all a bunch. I've got to run. I've got to send out some kits and stuff like that. And then I've got to go meet I've got a meeting at noon today with some people. But I've got that stuff to do, guys. I appreciate y'all a bunch. Share the show out. I appreciate all the thumbs up. And, guys, y'all be careful. If you need anything, shoot me an email. And I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all. Yeah, Shelly and I will be on here Wednesday night. So, guys, have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.